The film begins by introducing Nicholas Van Orton, a wealthy businessman living alone in a grand estate just outside San Francisco. Although he's achieved great financial success, it's come at a personal cost. He's divorced, isolated, and clearly bored with life. The only family he has left is his younger brother, Conrad, but their relationship is distant, and they haven't seen each other in 2 years. One morning, Nicholas is informed that Conrad has been trying to reach him for several days. That afternoon, Conrad unexpectedly shows up at a restaurant, claiming he just wanted to wish Nicholas a happy birthday. But he doesn't come empty-handed. He brings an unusual gift, a voucher for an experience with a mysterious company called CRS. Nicholas assumes it's just another one of Conrad's strange pranks, but Conrad insists he at least stop by the CRS office once during the week. Nicholas agrees, mostly out of politeness. The following day, Nicholas finds himself at an office building for a separate appointment, which happens to be in the same location as the CRS headquarters. On a whim, he steps inside. An employee named Jim greets him and walks him through the initial setup, known as the pre-game process, but refuses to explain what the game actually is. Nicholas is irritated by the vagueness, but the enigma intrigues him. Despite knowing nothing about what lies ahead, Nicholas signs up. The pre-game process involves a bizarre 4-hour psychological evaluation. He clears his schedule and undergoes a series of odd and personal questions, including whether he's ever hurt animals or his preferences in body parts. After the lengthy ordeal, he's told that CRS will contact him if he qualifies to participate. The next day, Nicholas joins a few friends at the tennis club and brings up the company. Surprisingly, both of them have played the game before, and they speak about it with glowing admiration, even saying they'd love to experience it again. But when Nicholas presses them for details, they keep things vague, dodging his questions. Later, during a business meeting, Nicholas receives a call from CRS informing him that his application has been denied. The rejection stings more than expected. By this point, he was genuinely excited to play. As he drives home, he jokingly thinks to himself, "Maybe I should have picked butts." Later that night, Nicholas spots a life-sized clown doll sitting in his driveway turnaround. Curious and a little disturbed, he decides to bring it inside. As he examines it, he notices something odd. There's a key tucked under the clown's tongue. Strangely enough, it's marked with the CRS logo, which means that despite being told he was rejected, the game has officially begun. While Nicholas inspects the doll further, a voice suddenly speaks to him. Startled, he looks around and realizes it's coming from the television. A news anchor is somehow addressing him directly, explaining that this is part of the game. He's told to hold on to any objects he finds, like the key, because they'll be important until the game ends. Nicholas also discovers that the doll has a hidden camera inside its neck, and the broadcaster is watching him through it. Frustrated and unnerved, he snaps the doll's neck to destroy the device, then goes to bed. The next morning, small things start to go wrong. Nicholas keeps noticing clown-related imagery everywhere. People stare at him oddly, and one of his shirts is ruined when a CRS-branded pen leaks ink all over it. But things soon escalate. During a crucial business meeting, he's unable to open his briefcase, which costs him the deal. Desperate, he tries using the CRS key, but it doesn't help. Later that evening, Nicholas has dinner at a restaurant where he meets a waitress named Christine. During their interaction, she accidentally spills wine on him and is fired on the spot. As she leaves, Nicholas receives his bill. Scrawled across it are the words, "Don't let her get away." Taking the message seriously, he rushes out to find her. He spots Christine in an alleyway, crouched beside a sick man. She insists they help him get to a hospital. Conveniently, a police car drives by at that exact moment. As they're taken to the hospital, things get even weirder. Once inside, the lights suddenly go out, and when they flicker back on, everyone has vanished except for Christine and Nicholas. It's clear now that this too is part of the game. They come across a broken elevator that miraculously starts working after Nicholas uses the CRS key on it. Inside, he opens up to Christine about the strange game he's involved in. She seems disturbed, calling it a twisted hobby for the ultra-wealthy. Eventually, they escape the elevator and realize they're inside the CRS building. Trying to explore the offices, they accidentally trigger an alarm and are forced to flee. Feeling guilty for involving her, Nicholas brings Christine back to his mansion. After a short conversation, she heads off to shower and calls a taxi. Before she leaves, she confesses that she was paid $400 to spill the wine on him, but never saw the person who gave her the cash. Nicholas thanks her and sees her off. The next morning, a phone call wakes him up. He's told he left his credit card at a hotel the night before, a hotel he has no memory of visiting. Confused, he goes to retrieve it. To his shock, the hotel staff treats him like a guest and escorts him to a room registered in his name. Inside, he finds total chaos: empty liquor bottles, drug paraphernalia, a tape playing explicit content, and Polaroids of naked women scattered across the table. What hits him hardest is that his personal briefcase is sitting open among the mess. Panicked, he tries to clean up and rushes back to his office, realizing his professional life and personal reputation are hanging by a thread. Not wasting any time, he calls his lawyer, Sam, and demands he dig up everything possible on CRS. He also finds a glass-breaking emergency tool tucked into an envelope left in the hotel room. Later that night, when Nicholas finally returns home, all he wants is rest. But any hope of peace is shattered when he realizes someone has broken into his mansion. The interior is covered in graffiti, trashed beyond recognition. His once elegant home now looks like a stranger's nightmare. Just as Nicholas picks up the phone to call the police, loud banging on the door jolts him. To his surprise, it's his brother Conrad, frantic, paranoid, and clearly shaken. Nicholas demands to know why Conrad hasn't returned any of his calls, and Conrad explains that he doesn't trust anyone anymore. The brothers hastily leave the vandalized mansion, driving away in Nicholas's car. As they catch their breath, Conrad confesses something disturbing. He's also been trapped in the CRS game, and it's tearing his life apart. Despite paying large sums to make it stop, the nightmare has only intensified. Suddenly, the car gets a flat tire. As Conrad checks the trunk, he discovers a pile of CRS-labeled keys. Panic sets in. He thinks Nicholas might be in on it. Paranoid and convinced he's been set up, Conrad bolts into the night. Nicholas chases after him, but eventually gives up and hails a taxi, deciding it's finally time to go to the police. But even the cab ride isn't safe. The driver misses an obvious exit and soon confesses he's with CRS. Without warning, he leaps out of the moving vehicle, leaving Nicholas inside as the car crashes into a river. As water floods the cabin, Nicholas remembers the glass-breaking device he found earlier. He uses it to smash the window and swim to safety. With nowhere else to turn, he tracks down Christine and shows up at her place. At first, she seems genuine, but then Nicholas notices something odd: a budding price tag tucked inside a lamp. The lamp looks antique, but the tag is brand new. He starts looking around and realizes the entire place feels like a movie set. The books are fake. The faucet doesn't work. Christine's persona begins to unravel. When Christine returns, it's obvious she's still working with CRS. Nicholas confronts her, and the moment turns tense as bullets start flying through the windows. Snipers. The two manage to flee through the back and head for safety. On the way, Christine finally confesses. CRS used Nicholas's psychological evaluations to guess his security codes and drain all his accounts. To confirm, Nicholas checks his balance. It's empty. Despite everything, she says it is possible to recover his money. She's seen others do it. They head to her real apartment, where Christine says she was forced into the job under threat. But Nicholas has lost all trust. His instincts are proven right when he suddenly feels dizzy. She drugged him. He wakes up a day later, buried alive in a coffin in a Mexican graveyard with no money, no ID, and no clue how he got there. After wandering through unfamiliar streets begging for help, he finally manages to hitch a ride on a truck heading back to San Francisco. When he arrives, his home is up for sale. Broken and exhausted, Nicholas turns to one of the few people he still trusts, his ex-wife, Elizabeth. They meet at a cafe. He apologizes for how he treated her during their marriage, and with a weak smile, adds, "Also, could you lend me some money?" Just when he thinks he's hit rock bottom, he sees something that flips everything upside down. On TV, there's a commercial, and the actor in it is Jim, the CRS staff member who'd previously helped him. That's all Nicholas needs. He tracks Jim down at an aquarium and threatens him until the man, terrified, agrees to take Nicholas to the real CRS headquarters. Inside the office, Nicholas is stunned. He recognizes nearly every face: waiters, cab drivers, strangers from the past week. But what truly rattles him is the sight of Christine. He grabs her and drags her to the rooftop. Desperate, she pleads with him. It's still part of the game. She reveals that Conrad is alive, his money is fine, and everyone, including friends and family, is waiting just behind the door to surprise him and congratulate him for completing the game. But Nicholas doesn't believe her anymore. The door bursts open. In a split-second panic, Nicholas fires his gun right into Conrad, who enters smiling, holding a bottle of champagne. His brother collapses. Horrified, Nicholas turns and jumps from the rooftop. He crashes through a glass ceiling and lands safely on a massive airbag. Within moments, emergency responders swarm around him, treating him carefully. It was all part of the plan. As he regains consciousness, he finds himself in a lavish ballroom surrounded by friends, family, and every person he encountered during the game, including Conrad, very much alive. Everything from the clown to the hotel room to the gunshot had been staged as part of a deeply immersive experience. Conrad explains it was all a gift, a way to force Nicholas to appreciate life again. Wiping away tears, Nicholas laughs for the first time in ages. "Good thing I jumped off that side of the building," Conrad jokes. Nicholas, still dazed, asks, "How did you all get down here so fast anyway?" No one has an answer. Later, Nicholas notices Christine, or rather Claire, leaving the party. He follows her to a waiting taxi. She tells him her real name, and he asks her to dinner. She declines, admitting she was paid for her role. But before leaving, she offers to grab a coffee with him at the airport, just before she flies off to Australia for her next game assignment. The story may be unhinged, but it's an unforgettable David Fincher ride. Highly recommended. The ending of the game is a brilliant psychological twist that flips the entire narrative on its head. Just when you think Nicholas has lost everything, his money, his mind, and even his brother, the truth is revealed. If you enjoyed this recap, make sure to subscribe.